17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
A deserted pier, an old empty theater. Good. It's the ideal setting for the flesh and blood show.
Cause of death, head and abdominal wounds, sharp instrument. Secondary cause, drowning.
At the Flesh and Blood show, it costs nothing to get in.
Tony Ryan?
Nothing to get in, because they never let you out.
See that?
You feel your flesh begin to creep. You'll feel your blood begin to freeze as you grope your way to the terrifying climax of the Flesh and Blood show.
Good evening, fans of fantastic films, and welcome once again to the Drive-In Asylum double feature. I'm Bill Van Ryn from Fanzine Drive-In Asylum, and down there in the lower right corner is Sam Panico, being us about movies. And Sam, why don't you introduce our special guest?
And above us is Jennifer Upton, who is awesome and has written a ton of stuff for the site this week. And she is up very late in England. So
thank you.
Welcome to the show again.
Thank you for having me again. And thanks for letting me write for you. I sorry I was a little late with the deadlines this week, but
well, it's fine. I was gonna say it's a holiday, but that doesn't matter to you. So you know.
I took the day off anyway. So
oh, okay.
I don't want to give up.
Yeah, it was
my
you are an American originally, so
yeah, know. Exactly. So yeah, cheers to you both, and hope you both had a good Thanksgiving and good Black Friday and all that. So I've got a friend here, as you can see. He's joining me.
I'm afraid to ask your friend's name.
Baffy. Kobe.
Pleased to meet you, Baffy. Oh, and there's another little demon.
All the demons are out tonight. All the little demons are out.
Oh,
Cubster. Well,
he's still half awake from all the tryptophan he got. It really hit him hard this year.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever had to do this on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. We should say from the very beginning that we had to change tonight's program. We're still watching Flesh and Blood show, of course, but our second feature was going to be Death Game. And it turns out that I thought everything on Tubi was up there legit. And I was in touch with Bob from Grindhouse Releasing, and he was like, no, that's not legit. And they had it taken down. So, and I can understand why, no hard feelings. But we are still going to give away this fabulous copy of Death Game, direct from Grindhouse Releasing. They did send me this to give away on the show. And it's really a fantastic film. We'll be talking about it later on the program. We're not going to totally ignore Death Game. But we have a surprise second feature. We're not going to say what it is. We're just going to make you wait until you come back on the second segment. You'll see the trailer for what our second feature is going to be. And in the meantime, I want to encourage everybody, go to grindhousereleasing.com because they're having a great Black Friday special. Death Game is on sale for just $25. It was $24.99. And some other great stuff like Corruption, starring Peter Cushing, Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox. They've released tons of fantastic films, and most of them are almost 50% off today. So go check it
Corruption
out.
is not a woman's picture, Bill, just so you know. I just want to put that out there.
I bet Jen has seen it.
Corruption? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
It is
I
a
have,
woman's
I have a
picture.
copy of it in the other room. Yeah, so it's a really bad print. I don't have the Grindhouse DVD. I have like an old double feature with it's an old Bigfoot movie.
Oh wow.
Can I remember the name of it right now? It's 1 a.m. No, it was made in Florida. Something Walkers.
Time Walker?
No.
No, that's not.
No. But it's a double feature, and neither print of either film was very good. But I had already seen Corruption, so yeah, I'm pretty nothing really bothers me too much. There's only been a couple of films in my whole film watching life that I was just like, no, and a Serbian film was one of them.
Oh yeah, you know I was gonna grill you about which ones they were.
Yeah.
Although she watches a lot of Hong Kong Category 3 movies and they don't bother her.
Yeah.
So that should tell you she's got a pretty strong stomach.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But the Serbian film that made me question a lot. like it wouldn't get out of my head for like a week, and I thought, am I getting old? Am I changing? Are my morals changing? No, I just don't really like that movie. I really don't like that movie. Won't watch it again, and I won't see Martyrs because someone told me it's even worse.
Oh, wow.
So I'm afraid to watch that movie. So.
I wouldn't say that Martyrs is worse than a Serbian film.
No?
Personally. Okay. I mean, I guess everybody's different, you know. What
okay.
really goes over the line is different for everybody. But yeah. Martyrs, the only thing I didn't like about Martyrs is there's just this extended scene of brutality in the film, and it just keeps going on, and you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. It was just, and it wasn't making me feel any worse for the character, because I was like, okay, I know this isn't real. Like these people are acting. So like, you made your point.
Yeah. But, with a Serbian film, I questioned the sanity of the people who made it. Like, who would even think of that stuff? Like, why would you? Like, no. I know you're doing it for attention, and it got into the film festivals and all that, but I wasn't on board. I was like, no.
Martyrs does something really weird at the end, where all of a sudden it turns into a completely different kind of movie, and you're like, oh, well, all that shit kind of made sense now.
All right, maybe I'll give it a shot. All right.
I want to say that Wes Craven walked out of Reservoir Dogs. So that's where his line is.
Seriously? The man who made
the prestigious film festival, he walked out and said, and Tarantino's like, I'm really excited I could offend the guy that made Last House on the Left.
That's what I was going to say.
He's like, well, my movie is anti-violence. Your movie glorifies violence, which yet another reason I don't like Wes Craven. So there you go.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Rick Baker walked out too, which is even funnier. I think he was kind of was sitting with Wes Craven, and he's like, "We got to go." And Rick Baker's like, "Well, you're my ride." So,
okay, but I don't know. For me, I saw both in the theater, and I mean, I saw like a re-release of Last House when they remastered it. But you feel like you need a shower after that movie.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way after Reservoir Dogs.
No,
I think he was just upset about the ear sequence. He said it was too much. I don't know. I wouldn't compare the two of them. But
that's really interesting. Wow.
You got some love over Amityville Vibrators, Sam.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. I just mentioned it existed.
You did make it, Sam. It's time to complain.
I know, it's a secret. I'm glad it came out on the show. No pun intended.
It was your run up to Stinkbug.
Yeah. Well, I'm like a 70s director. I started with Amityville Vibrator, and then I'll go legit after that with Stinkbug. I'll just rip off the rites of spring like Wes Craven did. Sorry. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
get out playing anti-Wes
The
Craven.
rites of spring, you mean the Virgin Spring.
The Virgin Spring, yeah. Sorry.
Virgin Spring. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho.
So Sam, I have a question for you about this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Because you're the Giallo guy. I've seen a lot of Giallo, but you've seen probably way more than I have. Is the Flesh and Blood Show the first British Giallo, or was there one before this that I'm forgetting? Because I feel like there was.
Yeah, there is. Wait, I'm looking it up because I actually just bought it. Hold on a second. 20. Oh, you know what? It's an American one. I was thinking 29 Baker Street.
Okay.
But that's set in England. I thought that it was a British one. Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I mean, Susie Kendall's in it, so it's definitely a Giallo, right? So I think we got. I think that's
Poor
like,
Susie Kendall.
Yeah. So that. Yeah, I think this is up there. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. That's a great question.
Yeah. Because Pete Walker definitely saw Bird with the Crystal Plumage. You could see it in this. And then, of course, however many years later, Michele Soavi did Stage Fright, which is basically a remake of this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a musical. So, yeah. It's
Sam, I
kind of
expected a
interesting.
bigger reaction that somebody brought up Stage Fright on the show.
I mean, I love Stage Fright so much. So
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, Bill and I talk about it all the time that we're like obsessed with the bad police work in Stage Fright. They're the worst cop. They're like, we're just gonna lock you in, and here's the one key to get out of the building.
Yeah.
I think Stage Fright's more of a slasher though. Like this movie's close to on the line of being a slasher too. It's more about the killing than about trying to figure out who the killer is, and Stage Fright's very similar. So I can't always, but they're so close.
Yeah. And this one isn't as flashy, but that's distinctly British. It's very bleak and sort of muted colors and shot in the winter in Eastbourne, which is foggy and dreary and cold like it is right now. And you feel that maudlin kind of, that's the only word I can use to describe what Britain is like in winter.
Yeah.
It's just depressing because you don't see the sun ever. So The Evil Eye, that's an Italian film.
Yeah. The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying. There's another one. I think it's after this though. Oh crap! What's the name of it? I'll have to do some research. That's a great question. I'm obsessed with it. So.
Yeah. No, me too. I've been like looking for a couple of hours. Like I know I've seen something that I remember having that thought, and I just can't remember what it was. So.
The other movie I wanted to show with this was another movie that a British director ripped off Argento Terror. Which is like Norman J. Warren being like, "Hey, I saw Suspiria. I can do that," and make it. It doesn't have to make sense.
No, well,
especially if you're ripping off Suspiria.
Yeah, I don't say that like it's a bad thing. I say that like it's a good thing.
It's not an insult.
No.
Yeah, I did a bit of research on Flesh and Blood. Ray Brooks, the guy who plays the director in this, turns out he did a lot of commercial voiceover work back in the day. Like they said, he had the golden voice, and he also did a kids show called Mr. Ben. He narrated that, and I saw on a rerun an 80s show he did called The Big Deal, where he played a professional poker player, and he was really, really excellent in that. So, and it turns out the girl who plays the actress in this film, sort of not really the lead because it's an ensemble cast, but her parents in real life were both actors, and Pete Walker came from a showbiz family too. So some of the dialogue in this film is kind of interesting that way. If you know that fact, it's sort of very a showbiz family, and how corrupt it is.
I refuse to believe that Showbiz family could be corrupt.
There's corruption. Oh, so I do have an answer for you guys. I'm thinking See No Evil was out in '71 by Richard Fleischer with Mia Farrow.
With Mia Farrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about a year before this. And then another British one would be Robert Frost's And Soon the Darkness, which is kind of, sort of.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
It's kind of. It's like Girls in Trouble. So I guess, is that Jawa or is that just Danger? I've seen it listed on some lists though.
Mm.
But definitely, Pete Walker's definitely played in the Jawa world too, though. After this, with like I had one of his other movies on my list here. Schizo definitely is, and
yeah,
we were
turns
talking about
out-
Schizo before the show started.
Yeah.
oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I missed it because I was running late because I was taking out a pool pump. What an exciting life I live.
It turns out that Pete Walker had a theme through most of his films about young people being sort of dismissed by older people and the establishment. He was quite anti-establishment as an independent director, it turns out. And then he quit filmmaking and went on to become wealthy, buying up little cinemas and fixing them up and running them.
Yeah,
So that's pretty cool.
that makes sense because, like, I think this is like the we're about 4 years from punk before young people are like, yeah, we're going to be heard, and like that definitely happens in his movies. Like, the establishment is very dismissive, not to the level of Let Sleeping Corpses Lie.
No.
But, that's my favorite establishment that will not listen movie. I think about it all the time.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah.
I
It's
only
funny
think
you
about
mentioned
Don't Open the
punk.
Window.
Oh, okay. Well, each its own title.
Go ahead,
Actually, I found out that Malcolm McLaren, who managed the Sex Pistols, had hired Pete Walker to do a film, and then they broke up. So that punk connection is definitely there. So
It wasn't going to be Who Killed Bambi.
no, it was something else. But
I can't even imagine the Sex Pistols coming together with Russ Meyer for that movie. They're like from two totally opposite worlds. Like, Russ Meyer's, while not the establishment, was in the army and is very set views on life. I can't even imagine what it was like when he met them.
yeah.
And not to mention Roger Ebert.
Mm-hmm. But if the movie had been made, I would have. I can tell you, there's an alternate version of me that loves that movie and is talking about it a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
In another universe.
Oh, the universe where it got made.
Yeah, the universe. The other. There's a universe where Hitler died earlier, and there's a universe where Who Killed Bambi got made. That's how my alternate worlds are.
Cool. Cigar is unraveling as we speak. So I do have another announcement or two to make before we go further about the Flesh and Blood show. I was very honored to be asked to be a part of a new series, one show in a series that's going on at Facets in Chicago. If you don't know what they are, they're Facets Multimedia. They're a respected nonprofit that's been around since 1975 in the Chicago area, and they, are a movie theater, a learning center. They have video rental store. They were carrying Drive-In Asylum for a while, but they asked me to co-present a program there, and the show that they're going to do is, if I had a graphic to put up, that would be great, right? Here it is. It's called The Naughty List, and it's on Friday, December 9th, coming up real soon here. So if you're in the Chicago area, here's something to do. Friday, December 9th, you're going to see Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Dial Code Santa Claus, aka Deadly Games, which I've never seen that one.
Oh my God, no. Get ready, bro. Oh boy, get ready. You're going to love it.
Well, I'm not actually going to be there in person. That's That's the corollary to this. I'm not making a personal appearance there. I will be appearing.
Shutter though. You could watch. It was on Shutter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've not seen that second one either.
Yeah, it's 1990. There's a lot of Home Alone ripped off. Home Alone ripped off a lot of stuff from it, but it is a much darker version of Home Alone. It's actually super dark.
Oh, cool.
It also has a world where people can use these like ATMs to talk to people. I guess they had them in Germany when it was made, and they're like intercoms that let you send like video text to people, and that's how the evil Santa finds this kid. It's real good.
I will be appearing by video. I'm going to do 2 ad galleries, one for Silent Night, Deadly Night, and since there really aren't any promotional materials for Dial Code Santa Claus, I'm going to do a rundown of some of my top holiday horror films. So it'll be really cool. Facets.org if you want to visit, and the website, and buy tickets in advance, or just show up and go hang out, dude. I'll be there in video spirit anyway. And so thanks, very, very big thanks to those guys for asking me to be a part of it. I'm very proud that they asked me. Here's something else I'm proud of. I went and made a whole bunch more copies of this. Remember this, Sam?
I do. I love that issue.
Yeah. It's our holiday horror issue. I ran a bunch of these off at the printer, so you can go buy them in the Etsy shop if you don't already have it. It's from December 2018, our holiday horror issue. And
if you already have it, it makes a great gift for the horror fan on your list.
Well said, Sam Panico. Well said.
Yeah. Yep. I'm in advertising. So, you know.
It's like this is your living or something.
Yeah, I think that somehow. That's what they say.
And another thing I wanted to mention is our friends Robert Fries and Paul McVeigh. They have a new book out. It came from Hollywood, Book 3. We mentioned this on the show last week. There's a fabulous interview with Al Adamson in there. And just like, it's just jam-packed with film fans writing about their favorite motion pictures and people who make the motion pictures. There's an article about Outland. Remember that one? Like, oh, we can make another Alien. Well, no, actually.
No.
So the graphic novel that they made from it is awesome. Steranko, who did Nick Fury, did all the art for the graphic novel, and it's a billion times better than the movie. Like the design of the graphic novel is so good. Before there were even graphic novels. This is like, 81, 82, so it's pretty great. So I'm going to ask you in the third segment about your favorite holiday horror movies. You don't have to reveal them all, but I'm excited to know.
I can talk about them.
All right, good.
It's not really a secret.
I don't want you to spoil them, though, for the Facets.
Well, I don't think anyone from Facets will be watching, so.
You never know. You never know.
So
I watched a lot of Thanksgiving horror this week, so I'll bring that up in the third segment. Who knew there was so much Thanksgiving horror? There is.
That's kind of a newer trend.
Yeah. It's because we made all these fucking Halloween movies. Do something else.
We ran out of holidays. Yeah.
Yeah. Our Arbor Day is still there. Armistice Day. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. Well, that's a limited audience, but I'm ready for it.
It could work.
It could work.
Yeah, I don't understand Boxing Day. I live it, and I don't understand it.
Oh.
We get a day off. I'm like, that's cool.
So, Jennifer Upton, you chose the Flesh and Blood show for this episode, and I'm curious why. What made you think of this first?
I think it perfectly encapsulates that time period. In terms of just the way it looks, the way the tone, the way it feels, the clothing, the hairstyles, everything. And there's something distinctly, like I said, British about it that you can't fully understand unless you've been here. Like that, you can feel the cold in some of those shots. And it's just there's something also about it that you guys will see when you watch it, but there's a few reaction shots of men. Like when a woman is nude, they just don't respond. They don't react at all. And that's so British because it's just like that. Keep calm and carry on. Just pretend this isn't happening. And I didn't get that before. I saw this movie like years ago when I lived in LA, and then I saw it again after I moved here, and I went, "Oh, I get it now." There's things in here I didn't really understand
Now
until
you
I'd
do.
lived here for a while.
It feels like a very cold movie, yet every female star in the cast gets naked.
Complete.
Like
And
even in the most bone-chilling moments of it, not by fear. It's like maybe just leave your clothes on.
yeah,
And
there's
and
there's so much tea drinking, like every scene when they're in that little B&B, like there's tea and cake, and it's like this whole, like a ritual. And and I never even noticed it before. And now it's like, oh yeah, that's a thing. It's a huge important part of the day is tea, The other thing I think is interesting about it is that there's really no blood to speak of. There's lots of flesh. There's murder, but you don't. It's more implied than some of his later films, Pete Walker's later films, which is funny because he got a lot of crap from the censors over here for this movie and for his subsequent films. Mary Whitehouse went after him pretty hard. So, well, she didn't like anything,
Her.
but yeah, she was awful, awful, awful woman.
These movies just seem, I don't know, like sleazy, but they're not. Like they're not.
No.
They have an air of disrespectability to them. I think that's kind of the feel I have for them in a good way. Yeah.
Like they're all kind of like artists, and they all have the puffy hair, and the establishment is the old button-down British, and it's sort of implied in a couple of the scenes where they just don't understand the older people when they're talking to them. There's like a huge generation gap. And I've talked to a lot of people who were around back then here, and that's pretty much what they said it was like. It was like all of a sudden this post-war generation came, and everybody that came before them had, this is how you do things. And they were nowhere near as laid back. And then all of a sudden everybody had shaggy hair and low-cut tops and tight skirts, and it just was a whole different thing that I think he captures it perfectly. And I really just think the ensemble nature of the cast is one of the reasons I love this film. Because everybody kind of has their little moment to shine. But when I rewatched it last week, I was like, I'd completely forgotten that Tristan Roberts is in it, or Rogers, who played Robert Scorpio on General Hospital. Because I loved that show. That was my junior high after school jam. Got to get home to watch GH. And I never saw him in any other films.
Oh man, we've already shown one GH star. Anthony Geary was in Penitentiary 3. It was quite memorable as the bad guy in Penitentiary 3. So
what was that movie he did where he gets like it's like an occult type thing, and there's like there's like a Satan thing, and
oh wow, I've never seen it.
He's like a hippie with a guitar on his back in the beginning. I'll have to find it and send it to you because it's pretty good. It's like,
oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm interested already.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I was going to bring it up. I see it's in the ad. Some of this was shot in 3D too.
Yes.
Some of this movie, which is kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't need your 3D glasses for the screening tonight.
Yeah.
And speaking of people who were in the cast, I saw someone in the chat mentioned Tristan Rogers and Judy Matheson. Judy Matheson shared the ad for tonight's show on her Facebook, and I found it. Oh. And it was really exciting. I was like, wow, thank you for sharing this. And I said, is there something that I could read on the air about working with Pete Walker that you'd like to tell us? And she did respond. She said, Pete was terrific to work with. It was quite a complicated shoot in some ways, but he was efficiency personified, very professional. It was a fun time. The actors were all up for a little fun during the shoot. So I was happy to hear that this was a fun movie to work on, and that, you know,
Yeah.
even though
I think this is the second Pete Walker movie we showed. We showed The Comeback too.
Did we show The Comeback?
I think we did. Part of me thinks we had to have.
It used to be one of the clips in the opening, but I don't think we ever showed it.
Oh man, well then we'll rectify that and show it because I love that movie. That
Yeah.
dude's chest hair frightens me though really bad. He's got like a Brillo.
Jack Jones.
Jack Jones's chest hair is very upsetting.
It's exciting
Very
and
70s. Just don't like it.
Have you seen Cool It Carol?
Yeah.
Sam loves that one.
I
haven't
do
seen
too.
it.
I love that one.
Yeah. I have a weakness for like the confessions of movies and like early British. Because it's funny I'm sure that they were very upsetting to the moral police when they came out. When you watch them now, you're like, there's nothing at all dirty that happens in this movie at all. Like this is like literally could run at 7 o'clock in the afternoon on TV. It's not that bad.
Yeah, completely. It's that movie kind of. It kind of got dark. That movie, Cool.
Yeah, it does. It's like it's one of those my favorite. It doesn't have a name for this genre. Don't come to the big city. Movies. So, which you could say Last Night in Soho is in that same genre. It's like just stay in the country, little girl. And
Private Parts.
Private Parts, yeah. Like just
Poor
stay
Cheryl.
away from the city because people here are going to manipulate you and you aren't ready for them. And yeah.
Cheryl moved in with her aunt, who was really her uncle at the end of the movie. Who knew?
Oh man, I think that's another movie I think about way too much too. The Private Parts, especially the poster for it. I love the poster for it.
Yeah, that movie's a real mind fuck. I was disturbed the first time I saw Private Parts, and it's funny, you know. It's not a serious film all the time. Well, how serious could it be with Paul Bartle behind it?
Yeah.
But once you get absorbed in it, it just sort of like starts showing you all these bizarre things, and like the part with the blow up doll really freaked me out. I was bothered by that scene.
Well, it's like, I'm gonna put your blood into this blow up doll, so part of using it. Okay.
It wasn't even like he injects blood into it, and it's like the moment of ejaculation. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not a movie. It's funny because it's not a movie that when you watch it on the surface, you hear about it, it's like, oh, this won't be that disturbing. But there's so much of it that like gets stuck in your head. It's like, oh, that's kind of why I dig it. I really dig Pete Walker. I like Die Screaming Mary Ann too. That's another good Pete Walker movie. He excels at these like young, like you said, young folks in trouble, and the system is going to crush you, and in very dramatic and like planned themed ways, which is kind of cool. And that's the other thing I said about like the sleaziness of it. Like when you hear his titles, like House of Whipcord and The Flesh and Blood Show and Frightmare, they're all like very ballyhoo.
House of Mortal Sin.
Yeah, I was like, come on in and watch this, kids.
Yeah, fantastic title. Flesh and Blood Show. Yeah.
And I have to say, the ad that Bill did for this one, with that looked like driving ad, the black and white one, is my favorite ad he's ever done for the show because it really summed up. I was like, man, I can't wait to watch this. Oh wait, I'm doing that. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have to go see it, but it was really great.
I'm sorry we didn't follow through with our promise to watch Death Game. We're still going to talk about it in the second segment. We're still going to give away this fabulous Blu-ray from Grindhouse Releasing.
And I know that there's ways to watch it, but if Grindhouse Releasing is going to be nice enough to give us one, we're not going to like screw them over.
Yeah.
And say, here, watch it for free. Buy it. It's only $25. And I will say, this is probably my favorite Blu-ray that came out this year. Like it's awesome. It's like revelatory. It's really good. And there's a ton of different versions of Death Game too. If you guys are interested, I did an article on the site about it. There's like 4 or 5 versions of it. It's pretty wild.
You can talk about that in the second segment.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, let's keep walking.
Here's some ads for the Flesh and Blood show.
Yeah.
This is from its debut in London, and I'll have the date for you in just a second.
Luann Peters. was a singer too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she had a couple of hits over here.
Oh. We just discovered this week that Marissa Mel from Marta, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marissa Mel.
Marissa Mel, she had a brief singing career, and you really have to go look it up on YouTube. It's incredible.
She was in Diabolic, right? Danger Diabolic, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
and that song's really something. It's really something.
So this is the debut of the Flesh and Blood show in London, September 21st, 1972, which would have been the date of this. And it came back in November 1973 in London with Sex in the Office.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, you naughty Brits. So much.
Kingston. Kingston's not that far from where I'm sitting right now.
Really?
Yeah. No, I live right near Kingston. Yeah.
Look, it was December 9th. Wait, is that the address? Is that somehow
the address? Kingston is a part of Greater London. Yeah.
So that was the original British run from 72. By the time it made it to the States, it was 1973. This is from Pittsburgh, September 1973. The co-feature
I can't
Bummer.
imagine seeing this at a drive-in. Oh.
Well, what drive-in do you think you would have seen it at, Sam?
The Dependable?
No. Something closer to you.
No, I can't read my eyes. Oh, Super 51. Oh, my God. 6-month-old me would have loved this movie. And Bummer. Perhaps I was there. Perhaps my parents took me and I slept through it as a baby.
Same.
You could explain a lot.
Yeah.
This is from Louisville. Louisville in October 1973.
Wow. Velvet Vampire and the Mad Doctor of Blood Island. Very nice.
I like the handmade nature of this ad.
Louisville had a whole bunch there was a whole series like this in the 70s.
Yeah, because a lot of this is hand done type. Like the Mad Doctor Blood Island's definitely hand done.
Yeah,
it's like a mix between key art and hand done stuff. Well, that's really awesome.
Scream Bloody Murder is directly from the press book.
Yeah. But like a lot of stuff, like the cross hatching's all by hand. That's not like a Zipatone thing. Like they would do like for a lot of the dot patterns you see, like they would do like rub downs for those, like Presto Magics or like transfers. That's like all by hand. I had to learn all that in art school because we didn't know about computers, and then they came out the next year and we're like, oh, you can just add that by computer.
Here's another great program, Friday the 13th. This is from Albuquerque in September 1974.
What is Dead One? Is that the Florida regional movie?
Dead One is from 64, I think. It's a voodoo zombie film.
Yeah,
it's called
that's what I'm thinking.
The Dead One is the official title.
Yeah. I love that cat in the ad, by the way.
I was just looking at him. I love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
this ad is almost like Italian in its design. I really love it.
Didn't Ron Ormond have something to do with The Dead One?
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking it comes from. Yeah, that's one of his last non-religious movies.
Oh yeah, look, I just looked it up. Linda Ormond's in it. It's directed by Barry Mann, but
it's got a really great looking zombie in it though. It's kind of like a long-haired beetle haircut zombie in it.
Far out. Those damn hippies will be the end of us. I saved this one for last.
Yay!
Man.
Excuse me.
This is from April 1975. Los Altos. This must have been from somewhere in Texas. I didn't bother to make a note of it, so I apologize.
I like that they called out the American Graffiti connection for Messiah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like American Graffiti came first, and then came Messiah of Evil.
The writer part of me is upset that the period is outside of the quotation marks, but that's okay. I'll survive.
Oh,
Darren in the chat says the movie with Tony Geary is Blood Sabbath, and he is correct.
Oh, okay.
You need to
I've
see
not
that.
seen it. So,
It's-
okay, that's going on the list.
It's epic.
Oh, man. You ready for a
Thanks,
drink,
Darren.
Bill and Jen? I'll make a drink.
I'm doing beer tonight because of British film.
Oh, nice. Is it warm?
Yeah.
That's how most of my British knowledge comes from the young ones in Benny Hill. So that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good beer though, so I'm only having half a pint. It's 13%. It's aged in whiskey barrels. Imperial Stout. It's craft beer, so
I had the double. There's a breakfast stout here that they make that has like KBS makes, and it's like an oatmeal breakfast stout. And I made the mistake once of getting the double, and it's like 16%. I'm like, I can certainly drink this and do other stuff afterwards.
no.
So this is the blood show. This is going to start with 2 ounces of orange juice. It was supposed to have blood orange juice. Let me tell you how difficult it is to find blood orange juice. It's near impossible. So instead, we're going to get fakey. We're going to put a little bit of grenadine in it, and that'll be the blood in the blood orange juice. Also, blood orange juice is like $8 for a little tiny bottle, and orange juice is like $3 for a big one. So you know what? We made our own. That's okay. All right, and it's also going to have 2 ounces of tequila. Not a British spirit, but let's just say
It's my favorite though.
Oh, okay. See, that's
you could take the girl out of America, but
Oh no, yeah.
And then finally, pomegranate juice, but I'm going to use pomegranate nectar because I'm fancy. This comes from the only Indian store in Monongahela. Who knew that there was one?
I'm impressed that there even was one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's in Rostraver, but it's the same thing, right? Anyway, let's shake it up. Let's be very careful. Is it sealed? Becca is right here to watch. Come on, Cam.
No.
Come on. Okay. All right.
It's like OSHA, but for my house.
Yeah, exactly. OSHA for the rugs. All right. Look at that beautiful color. It's very bloody. Oh,
That's
wow.
lovely.
Drippy, as Becca said. Yeah, it is drippy. That's why she's here, because otherwise there would be little drips of cocktails all over the house. So, Jen, thank you for coming on, staying up late.
Yeah, no worries.
Jen, Bill, thank you for everything for doing the show. And thanks, everybody, coming and watching. Becca, thanks for supervising. Good news to everybody.
Thank you for having me again. I missed you guys.
I don't think I was on the last time you were on.
You came late because you were out.
Probably wrestling.
Yes.
Wrestling, most likely. I didn't make I wasn't on brand tonight. I made my own beverage. It's just Midori with vodka and ginger ale. And
This came out.
cherries.
This is really a sweeter than bloodier drink, but maybe it's like hiding the danger inside. Maybe that's how it works.
Yeah, this is quite sweet too. My pint glass says you are brilliant.
Oh. I like when they hide stuff like that on the craft labels. I'm on the hunt. There's a King Diamond craft beer, the Black Horseman Lager, but it's sold out everywhere. So you can't find Iron Maiden beer everywhere. So I saw that last night at the grocery store.
I have to say, the last time I was in the States, I was really impressed by the level of craft beer quality. You guys are really just kicking ass in the craft beer world.
It's getting a lot. There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time Becca was, when I married her, she was a PBR girl. And then she gradually came over to the craft beer world. And one time before we went to a show, she was like, I can drink 3 or 4 of these craft beers. She could. She
I
did.
became a different person.
I went to the show with my wife. I came home with a psychopath. 2 songs into the show, she was like, well, I've seen enough. And I said, I've been waiting. It was King Diamond, ironically. I said, I'm waiting to see the show for never seen him. and this is awesome. She's like, yeah, you're boring. Let's go home. And then you're home. She said the next day, she goes, did you enjoy yourself? I said, yeah, the two songs were pretty good. So there you go.
Am I a Shirley Temple guy, Sam?
No, I don't think I think you enjoy a Shirley Temple, but you like more alcohol with it.
Yeah. It is like a Shirley Temple, though.
I do like I know the drinks Bill likes. Bill always likes drinks that have like a bit of sweetness to them, and also like he likes the ones that are a little bit like pina colada-ish. He enjoys those too. So
delicious.
He always says before he drinks, like, how much is in this? Because it tastes really sweet. I'm like, oh, there's not a lot in it. And he's like, there's moonshine in this drink. I'm like, yeah, I know.
There's tons of alcohol in anything Sam Panico gives you. So
the next drink, swear to God, has 6 different shots in it. It's for the second movie. It's not for the first movie.
Right.
How do we do it? It's a little aperitif before the second movie. It was kind of I was like trying to figure out like what drink would get me in the right mood for Death Game when we were going to do Death Game. And that's it. Death by Sex is the second drink.
It's Invasion of the Bee Girls all over again.
It really is. I think the hardest drink I ever made on the show is when we showed Absurd. I made that one called the Axe Murder, and it had like 12 different shots in it. And I was like, why did I make this? I woke up the next day and I was in so much pain. I was like, this was a rough drink. It was worth it. And George Eastman was killing people in Pittsburgh. I love that movie is about the Super Bowl and everybody's going to watch the football game. You're like, this could be happening in Pittsburgh. It could also be Halloween, the exact same movie in parts. But hey, whatever. I'm really excited to watch this Pete Walker movie, though. I'm like super jazzed because I haven't watched it in a while. And I'm especially like you bring up the Giallo connections. I'm really jazzed about it.
Yeah. I mean, just there's a couple of scenes where the dialogue is almost the same. You know, in Stage Fright, and you go, oh, like,
yeah,
lock us in. What? You know, it's for different reasons in the two films, but it's still kind of there's a lot of, you know.
My favorite part of Stage Fright is when the one person goes into the hole and then they just pull out half their body.
Mine too.
And everybody's like screaming. And it's like, I would love to see that in a theater with people that had never seen it before.
I have.
That is the peak moment of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then the end is there's 2 awesome things in the movie. Like the end, I'm not going to spoil anything, but
yeah.
When she gets there and the killer's on stage and the feathers are falling from the ceiling, and he's just sitting there like happy in the chair. And then at the end, like, he like gets back up and she just walks off camera. She's like, I'm out of this movie. Like literally she exits Stage Right at the end of the movie, like a scene direction, like she's escaped the movie. And he just goes, whoa.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's like, oh man, Michelle Suave's like, I wish he had come around like 10 years before, because I think he would be considered in the same class as Fulci. And to me, he is.
Yeah.
But he really didn't have as much time as everybody else. But man, when I saw Goblin a couple weeks ago, they played Dean Bell's wearing the shirt right now. That's why I just thought of it. And whenever the first image they showed was him as the ticket taker, I almost jumped out of my chair. I was so excited because I get so happy that he's the ticket taker in that scene. And anytime he shows up in like he's in so many movies as an actor too. It's wild. Like he just randomly shows up and like, oh yeah, he's in this.
Yeah, that moment where she walks off, like stage direction, keep that in mind while you're watching this film. Look for it; you'll see it.
Oh, man.
There's so many now that you have the connection in your head. Look for all the little things. This is just like a down and dirtier version.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh man, that's what I love about Stage Fright, where he's very much has the Argento influence, where he's like, I know we could film this with a medium shot, but what if the camera went into someone's eye? Like it's hard, like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like that's what I love about it.
I love that owl costume. Like that is my favorite image from that whole film. It's just so beautifully designed and built. It's I wonder if that still someone has that in their garage.
Yeah.
You know? Just incredible.
It's so weird looking too, where it's like most slashers are like, I would just put a hockey mask or a sack on the guy's head. And he's like, this guy's going to really have a really intricate costume and reasons for being. I love any Italian movies that start with like on stage killings, like Night Killer starts with one too, where everybody's trying to dance in the beginning. I get super into that. So that's what I kind of dig about this. Like I like Madhouse is the Vincent Price movie that has like on stage killings is another kind
I
of good
love
one, too.
Madhouse. Yeah. Yeah, it's terrific. Yeah. And
Dr.
this
Death.
is sort of their avant-garde. The entire play is improvised, and it doesn't. I'm like, how would you even go about that if you don't even have an idea of what the play is about? Like, it's very.
I think those are the ideas of the time, though. In '72, like, why can't we just do it all?
Yeah.
Why can't we just do it like this?
And people would pay to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's great about it. You can't go to see plays like that anymore, even here. So.
I have some questions.
Will and I are going to put one on. We're just going to improvise, get up and improvise a show.
Yeah.
I have a question for our guest, Jennifer Upton. I wondered if you had any favorite holiday horror films. Like, is there anything that really is a must watch for you?
I love Christmas Evil.
Someone mentioned that in the chat. Yeah.
It's great. It's just that's probably. I mean, I also do like traditional stuff. Like I watch Rudolph every year, the Rankin and Bass, and I watch the Karloff Grinch and the stuff that I grew up on. But Christmas Evil, Bad Santa is always on my list. The first one, which isn't a horror film, but it's not warm and fuzzy either.
No.
And yeah, Christmas Evil. I do like Silent Night, Deadly Night. But not as much as Christmas Evil, because the pathos in Christmas Evil is so incredible. And that last scene with the van is just like, I'll never forget the way it felt watching that for the first time. Like, huh? Like, what? So the whole time, wait, what? Like,
yeah, it just sort of like flies off into the.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And the way his brother is so angry with him, like he hates his guts. Like it's like that. You really feel that family. This is my annoying brother. It's everything about it. There's something, I don't know what it is, but there's something authentic about that movie that and it's just so. I love the downward spiral of the main character. That's probably my favorite. Yeah. I have to think about some other ones that I have. Name some more. Throw a few out because it's late.
Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Oh, yes.
The 72 film with Mary Warnoff.
I love her. Love her. Have you read her book?
No, I haven't read it.
Read her book.
Oh my God.
It's so good. It's so good. It's just, yeah. Yeah, I love that movie. I just watched that movie for the first time like 4 years ago. It had kind of flown. I read about it, I heard about it, but I just never got around to it until about 4 years ago. Now it's one of my favorites. Yeah, definitely. Throw out another one.
Don't Open Till Christmas.
I've not seen that one.
A British.
I'm gonna
Christmas horror
check
movie.
that one out.
Yeah, there's Sint is really good. The Dutch film or Saint. That's pretty decent.
Vince calls out the rarest one of all, To All a Good Night.
Yeah.
Directed by David Hess.
Yes. I saw that 20 years ago and I don't remember very much about it, to be honest, but I know I've seen it.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't think it was great, but it's definitely, it's almost like a parody. I mean, I guess maybe that's obvious that it's a parody because it's really just way out there in like the slasher. It's almost like Student Bodies level parody.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I remember I rented it just because David Hess directed it. So Oh, of course, Black Christmas, the original, not the remake.
Or the remake after that.
I've not seen the remake. I'm a bit of an I know. I have a thing about remakes. Like I liked the Dawn of the Dead remake. I watched Rob Zombie's Halloween and threw the remote at the TV when the credits rolled. So after that, I stopped watching remakes. So
He made you swear off remakes?
yeah, just I just don't feel at this point in my life that it's worth the time.
I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't like his remake of Halloween as much as I like Halloween 2.
Okay.
Because that was just sort of like his totally off the rails Rob Zombie take on Halloween. And because the original, there was something there he had to cling to, but Halloween 2, just there was nothing to cling to. He didn't remake Halloween 2 1981, so even though there was a segment in the hospital and everything, which is that's my favorite part of the whole movie, that weird green tinted sequence in the hospital with Knights of White Satin playing behind it. I love that. And the weird stuff with the white horse, like where did that come from? That's the kind of shit I love, like I like that kind of stuff. So I liked Halloween 2.
Okay. Yeah, Black Christmas though, the original is terrific. I mean,
yeah.
Another one, that's another kind of early, well, it's Canadian Giallo, isn't it? Because you really never figure out who it is at the end. It's not, I mean, it's
yeah, that's not the point, I guess.
No, but I love the house mother in that movie is my absolute favorite.
Oh.
Jeez. Claude, you little prick.
She got me with where to keep your booze in the back of the toilet to keep it cold.
She's incredible.
And the cutout in the book, I like that one too.
Yeah, she's just amazing.
She was creative.
Yeah. And you can see the little Bob Clark shots of humor. Like in the police station with Margot Kidder and and it's like there's a scene where someone just cracks up for 5 minutes. That's like in 5 of his films, like where it's just somebody laughing hysterically. And
there's one. I wondered if you knew what movie this is.
No.
Sam, you know what this is?
I don't. I'm trying to guess.
Xmas Massacre.
I don't know.
Let's see if anyone in the chat can get it. This is not the contest for the Death Game Blu-ray, by the way. We're going to do a drawing for that in the second segment. In case you're wondering. This is an Italian film.
Oh, is it Night Train?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
There was another title for that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Mike got it, too. Oh, yeah.
That's the roughest, I think the roughest remake of it's Last House on the Left, pretty much. But even rougher. Like, it is a bleak movie.
That is a hard watch, I have to say. Yeah, that really is.
Yeah. I really like it. It's very stylish. It's really well made, but boy, nothing good happens to anybody in it.
Yeah, that's one of those I never want to see it again movies.
No, exactly. Yeah, same.
Yeah, Sean called that. That's good.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, that was a hard-hitting film. Yeah.
There is a Michel Suave Christmas movie, The Christmas Witch, that he made 2 years ago. It's a kids comedy movie.
Oh.
That he did. It's all about, because they put up a kitchen witch for Italian. It's like an Italian tradition, but it's the Christmas witch and how she brings gifts to kids. And there's a lot of his shots in it. It's pretty wild. It's a kids movie, so don't expect stage fright. It's on Netflix and it's on Tubi too.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of cool that it came out. Because he took about 10 years off when his son was sick, and mostly just did TV and wasn't doing movies.
Yeah.
I always forget Auntie Roo has some Christmas elements.
It does. Yeah, that's true. That's a good movie.
And The Slayer.
Yeah.
Don't forget The Slayer.
Did you guys see Krampus or whatever?
No.
It was all right.
I saw it.
It was all right. I
It's
mean,
okay.
I saw someone brought up Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg, and I actually really like that movie. It's
Ooh.
way better. It's a million times better than it should be. It's pretty funny.
You know how I love Bill Goldberg.
I have heard.
Jennifer Upton, rumor has it that we're going to lose you after this segment because I know
Yeah,
it's really late
it's-
there in London.
I gotta go to sleep. It's my husband's birthday tomorrow, so
Oh,
I got to take
Aw.
the Brit out for dinner and for craft beer after, and whatever else. It's his day. He gets to do whatever he wants. So
well, that's nice.
We
yeah,
are certainly glad that you joined us tonight to talk about the Flesh and Blood show.
thank you for having me. Yeah, well, let's do it again. Yeah.
Please don't stay away so long next time.
I know. I've been like crazy busy and
I know it's totally unfair because like I usually am the one who reaches out and says, "Why don't you do another show?"
no, it's okay.
And there's some awesome reviews on the site this month from Jen. She
Yeah.
just did Did She Stay in Hell from 1925, which is a wild movie. You said it like kind of predates all the Italian horror movies with the stuff in it.
Yeah, Hercules in the Haunted World. I could see it in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. It's I loved it. And that's why I did that one last of the bunch because I wanted to sit down and really watch it, because I knew it was going to be good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You did a good array of like ones this time, so it was cool. That set's a pretty fun set. The Nightmare
It is.
Theater set by Mill Creek. There's a really wild mix of stuff on it. So
Yeah, and I know. Like I was like, did they just randomly get the rights to these public domain? Some of them are public domain, and
yeah,
they just put them all together because there's no rhyme or reason to any of those titles.
What amazes me about those is they sold them in places like Walmart and like places people could buy them, and they'd be confronted by something like Frankenstein 80,
Mhm.
like on this set that they paid $5 for.
Yeah.
And it's like
It sneaks into your
Like-
collection.
yeah, and you're like, oh man, like this. There's there's so many good movies on that set. There's some clunkers too, and some nuclear era like scare movies, but there's some really good stuff too.
Yeah. Wasn't Messiah of Evil on one of their sets a few years ago?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I don't know where Bill went. He's gone.
The Dorm That Dripped Blood. Yeah,
Right.
that's a Christmas movie. Well, sort of. Christmas movie.
That's another dark ending movie that just kind of is really bleak.
Oh,
Or
what
another
about Tales
slasher.
from the Crypt? That had a Christmas
Mm.
segment in it. Yeah.
That is my favorite Christmas. I watch that every Christmas.
Mm,
Because poor John Collins.
I know.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
her-
They show
her-
that. They show it on TV here every year. It's-
That carpeting is so white. That long shag and it's like gets blood in it and stuff. It's really wild.
Yeah.
That is probably my favorite anthology horror ever. Like that. Well, Amicus is the best, but
Amethyst
Tales from the
Amethyst is the best. Yeah. Or Amicus. Yeah. I'm tired.
that movie is unstoppable. Like that's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rene Cardano's Santa Claus versus the Devil too. That's another Christmas movie. And then Beck and I watch a Swedish one called I Believe in Santa Claus every year. That's a musical. And holy shit, it's in. Some kids' parents are lost in Iraq
Oh, wow.
during Desert Storm, and they're kidnapped, and Santa goes to get them out.
Oh my
and-
God.
And the kid gets lost. Yeah, Becca just yelled the music. It's a musical. There's a lot of singing. It's like a Swedish pop star sang all the songs in it. And they
Oh.
will don't watch it. There's a Riff Tracks version of it. It's a movie that will get stuck in your head.
Oh,
no
I'm
movie.
definitely going to check that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Now I have to
Um,
ask, since we're on the topic of
Uh-huh.
Christmas movies, which is your favorite version of Christmas Carol?
Oh man, that's a good question. I like Scrooged a lot, even though I guess that's kind of close, right?
Mm-hmm. The Bill Murray version. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. What about?
And there's a Mr. Magoo one too.
Yes. Oh my God. I forgot about that.
But like Mr. Magoo's never been evil, so it's like why is he? going through this. I like whenever they would do Christmas Carol on like TV shows, like Alex Keaton was picked one time for one. You know,
Yeah,
they kind of. Yeah, what's your favorite one?
the Alistair Sim version.
Oh yeah,
That's, I got to say, probably the best one, I think, for me. And I like the Albert Finney version, the musical.
I have a question for you too. What's up with like Christmas gets a lot of ghost stories in England? Like, why is that?
I have no idea.
Like they show like a lot of like portmanteaus and stuff during, during it.
That's true. Yeah, I that's a good question. I don't know. It's funny because sometimes questions like that I'll ask my husband and he'll be like, no idea. So
Well, is it because of A Christmas Carol? And that's why I would think so.
might be. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to maybe go to the library and ask somebody. I don't know.
There'll be scary ghost
Trick on the
stories.
children.
I don't. Yeah, it's a good question.
In our country, we scare the shit out of people for Christmas.
You know what? Actually, I think the more I think about it, just sitting here, I think that it's got to do with the old school class system that we still have here. It's not as bad as it was in the Dickens era, but it's still here. And yeah, it's probably poor people like to scare rich people, which is what that whole thing is about. And
Yeah.
justifiably so in some cases. So
That's very much the end of Tales from the Crypt, where it's like finally all the blind people rise up and make that elaborate. How did they build that?
yeah,
How did they figure all that
with the
out?
razor blades and the dog and
Yeah.
everything. Oh my God. No,
Yeah.
that's very similar. You're right. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's got to do with the very, very old, deeply ingrained class system here that I still can't wrap my head around because we just don't have that.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure you're like, why are we doing this thing for the Queen for like a month?
yeah. I mean, I just kind of ignored it after a while because I was like, okay, for about a week. And I have to be honest, I did go to the park and look at all the flowers and it was lovely. Sure. And people were so respectful and it was people from all races, creeds, age groups. It was beautiful. But a month, we just don't, I mean,
it took a while. We got a sex spot.
Oh, finally, we did it.
It's about time.
Sex Find Biz. My hot photo here, Black Heart. It's Cubby. Becca just yelled. It's Cubby putting out photos. If you go there, there's just a picture.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Wow.
my hot photo. Fire emoji. Last week it was the sex girls. The real sex girls who were here. Just like the song.
It was like an NPM reissue from the early 80s with Apollonia in the ad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This time it's just sexfind.biz.
The sex girls. Gas pump girls.
Gas pump.
Teenage hitchhikers.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend with Stepmother. That's what you'll find if you go to there.
All right. So
Let's start that movie.
We must get to our first feature, the Flesh and Blood show.
Cheers,
and
guys.
Thanks again. Yeah, thank you, Jen, for being here on the show.
We'll chat soon.
Come back and visit soon. In the meantime, the link has been in chat a million times. If you haven't found it by now, you haven't been looking. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. The Flesh and Blood Show 1972, directed by Pete Walker. We'll see you afterwards.